What I want to do in this video presentation today is talk about the importance of recognition. And recognition is something that, whether it's called recognition, attention, being noticed, appreciated, people crave it, people need it, and when people receive it, and it's done in a positive way, it can really enhance their self-esteem and well-being. And what's so great about it is it's often just a kind word. It could be a gift accompanying it, but it's just a kind word talking about why the action or the behavior of someone meant so much to you and sharing that. Do you think if you give that recognition, that person's going to be more apt to do that in the future? I sure think they are. But it's a hard thing to do, and there is an art to it, there is a skill to it, and it does come more naturally to some than others. But if it's something that you're doing a good job of, strive to be great at it. If it's something you're not particularly good at right now or engaged in a lot right now, try it out and see if it'll make you a better leader in whatever aspect of life you're in. Or if you're trying to lead up or lead, whether you're trying to lead up rather or trying to lead down, the importance of it is so crucial. A study by Gallup, that it's an ongoing survey that measures employee engagement. There are 3 questions that the higher organizations score, the higher they're rated in terms of their employee engagement. And I'm talking about organizations here in the business environment, but this could be in any walk of life. But one of the 3 questions that determined how likely employees were to be engaged was, are people receiving recognition at least once a week for doing a good job and receiving positive recognition? Once a week. And it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but think about your work experiences, or think about the times where you don't talk to the people that you're leading. How often are you giving them the recognition? Are you meeting that at least once a week criteria? If not, strive to meet that. The downside about recognition, there aren't a lot of downsides to it, but there are some things to be aware of so it can be done in a proper way that doesn't create animosity, doesn't create divisiveness, doesn't perhaps raise the bar in an extravagant manner about what people expect if they're doing a good job. But these are some things to certainly be aware of. And let me just look at my notes here. First and foremost is be specific. So many times the recognition, and people are thinking, oh, I give recognition all the time. I tell my people that you're doing a great job all the time. Well, what does that mean? Are you just telling them a good job? Are you saying good job as they're doing the behavior? Then there may be some connection there. But if not, someone's going to say, good job for what? What did I do well? You have to be specific about it. And as a parent, this is something very important for me as well, as be specific. Because if you want that action, that behavior to become part of your culture, emphasize the importance of it. There's an old saying by basketball coach Dick Bennett that coaches don't get what they teach, they get what they emphasize. And that happens in all walks of life. And one of the greatest ways you can emphasize your points is by giving recognition in a specific manner. Try relating it to your organization values or your personal core values, your family core values, whatever the case might be. Talk about the impact of it, whether it's on a customer, a family member. Customer is a pretty broad term, and you can apply it pretty much to anything, but talk about the effect and the impact in a positive way that all these actions created. It could be multifaceted. It's not just you and me impacting, but share all those different facets, all those different people that are positively impacted, the community that you're trying to build. the big one to be aware of is striving for a good reward to value ratio. And I would say the only trick to this is, now if someone lands a multi-million-dollar account, you better be giving them more than a $10 gift. That's a very important thing to your business. But for things that are certainly important to your organization, but they're not bringing in a large financial windfall per se, that you can directly measure and attribute that to, but it's good feelings. Small gifts, um, and what I'm cautioning people about here is, don't create a situation where people start saying, "Well, I did this. I did this. It's the same thing that so and so did. They got something, and I didn't get anything." So you have to be very aware that it's consistent, that the ratio of the reward to value is realistic, because you don't want to create those feelings of animosity. So oftentimes, whether or not small gifts are included, just the recognition, the verbal recognition itself is so important. The other really big one that people need to be aware of is, do people like to get public recognition, or do they just want to hear it privately? Some people get embarrassed by public recognition. And again, I think that there's any number of scenarios that can occur with this, but it might be something that is so big you have to share with the entire organization. You have to let the person that you're giving to know that, but ask their permission first. But no, sometimes there are people that just hearing it one on one, that's enough, and they feel fine about that. So always ask and get permission if you're going to share it with bigger groups, because you don't want people to be gun shy about doing things in the future if they're going to feel embarrassed. And yes, some people get embarrassed by being acknowledged publicly. Talked a little bit earlier about this in terms of reward to value ratio, but is your organization at the point right now where, is someone going to be accepted and praised for doing something well, or are they going to be scorned, become an outcast? The best example I can give, and it's not a great one, but you've got a kid that's in school, does a great job, the teacher thanks him, and then everyone brands him or her the teacher's pet, and then that kid doesn't want to do that anymore because it's something that their peer group is scorning. So sometimes with your culture, you've got to build to that, and I certainly think it's a worthwhile goal to build to that people are getting recognized across the board for doing great things, and it becomes part of the culture, and it's not such an unusual thing that people feel like they need to mock or make fun of other people for that. Do not give recognition for someone that it's just their turn. Now, this kind of contradicts the earlier statement about giving recognition once a day. But by golly, if you can't really look hard enough and find someone that's doing one good thing once a week to comment on, you've got to look at whether they should be part of your organization or not, and that's something to be aware of too. But don't just give it, if you do an Employee of the Month program, don't just give it to someone because they haven't received it yet. That becomes very transparent to the point where people are saying, well, it's just that person's turn. This award doesn't mean a whole lot. Recognition needs to mean something. Going back to culture, if you can use examples, and you may or may not use specific names, but give the examples so they become part of your culture and they become part of your story. That team members, your family, whatever it might be, that they, again, understand why it was such a positive impact, understand why it relates to the core values, the mission of your organization, whatever it might be. But have it become part of your story because it's such a valuable thing. And then the last thing, the importance of it. And I've said it many times. The more you can do it with specific items on feedback, talking about specific actions, specific behaviors, you're going to create an environment where people feel valued for that, they feel appreciated, and they're going to do more of that for your organization and your customers, your family, again, whatever the case might be. So thank you for watching this video on recognition. Have a great day.